So again, if anybody has any questions from the last section, feel free to chime in. I'm going to talk about mission and vision, so for those of you who are who have a concept that you're thinking about for shared space, this is really tied or appropriate for you. We see a lot of different life cycle through for centers. We see centers that go through all the different life cycles, and what we've learned is that if you get really specific and compelling when you're figuring out your vision and your mission for your center, the rest of the life cycle of your center can fall into place a little bit more easily. What we see is that sometimes centers who didn't really spend a lot of time refining their vision and mission, when they get down the line a couple years out and want to do an evaluation or want to be able to demonstrate their impact, they struggle a little bit more if they don't have a very clear mission and vision statement. So we started including this in the boot camp to kind of give folks who are at that early stage of developing a project some advice on how to craft your vision and mission statements. So what do you want to say when you're developing your vision or mission statement? And again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the U.S. experience. I know in Canada you have a whole different set of rules and regulations around setting up charitable organizations and nonprofits, but I think some of this is applicable all across the board. In general, you know, what we want you to do, or our advice to you from what we've learned, is to be clear and concise, be very compelling in your vision statement. You see the Connecticut Nonprofit Center here. Our vision is to create a professional nonprofit community where leaders share ideas, services, and knowledge for the benefit of those served by their collective missions. We wanted to be focused on the top benefits, not so much on the real estate. Again, going back to this issue, down the line you're going to want to do evaluation, and so being able to point back to what you're trying to achieve is really key. And really just having reduced rents is not always enough if you're later looking for more philanthropic support for your overall project. Oh, a question. Is vision creation more difficult for multi-sector centers because it's not zeroed in on a particular cause? I would say yes. I think it can be a little bit more of a challenge. But what we have found is, you know, depending, well, actually Michael's in Chicago, so you're not in a rural area. We've seen a lot of very successful multi-sector centers that are in more rural areas develop their mission and vision statements because they are sort of the one place for folks to go and to collaborate. I think, well, I think Katie's getting our video ready, and we can address this further after this video. But yeah, I would say that for a multi-sector center, you know, thinking very clearly, if you really don't want to be focused on services or focused on a certain theme, then why do you exist? Why is it because a certain neighborhood needs that? Is it because the tenants that you might have don't have anywhere else to go? I would advise, if you have a multi-sector center in an urban area, to think through that. The flip side of it is, if you think that you're not going to need the evaluation down the line, you know, I guess in my mind you might then you might be setting up a business model where you're not as dependent on philanthropic support. What we see is really wanting to focus folks on vision and mission, because a lot of centers down the line want to get philanthropic support for the work that they do, and they really need to be able to demonstrate why having all these nonprofits together is something that philanthropy should support. But Michael, if you're creating a center that will have a business model that isn't dependent on philanthropic support, then I think it's less important for you. So we are getting this video started. We're ready. Okay, so go. We're going to do the Simon Sinek video. We'll talk about it after. I'm not hearing it. There we go. I know it goes for another minute. I'm hearing from folks that you're not seeing the video. Just hold tight. We've got some other audio going on here.
Whoa. So I have sent the link to the video out to everyone via the chat. Started at 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Was anyone able to actually hear the audio of the video as it was playing? Yeah, so quite a few of you could hear it. So for those of you who didn't get the chance to hear what Simon Sinek was saying, go ahead and run it during a break, starting at 2 minutes and 19 seconds, and just watch the first 3 minutes. So Lara, did we get all the way through where you wanted it to be? Not quite? Do we want to continue running the video? It's working for the majority of people that are engaged. Okay. Hang on 1 second. I gotta find out where I put that video again. All right. So it should resume playing.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. So I apologize for the technology issues, but Simon Sinek, we wanted to include his TED Talk because this notion of focusing on the why, what you're providing in shared space is you're providing space. How you're doing it is you're providing a collective shared environment for nonprofits to come and locate together, but why are you doing it? And this goes back to Michael's point about the multi-sector center in that, trying to really drill down to that why will help you with your vision and mission statement. Obviously, a theme center that's focused on international development can figure out why all of these nonprofits being together makes a difference a little bit more easily. But I would challenge all of you, no matter what type of center you're doing, to really focus on that why. So the next, and please go back, and I think Simon's video is very informative, so I hope you find that helpful. But again, people don't buy what you sell, they buy why you're selling it. And in shared space, this is what gets to that root of why funders might support the work that you're doing. It's not just that you're providing a roof over the head of nonprofits, it's why they're going to be stronger together than locating separately. So a lot of times this is really hard, especially at the beginning of a project. It's really hard to come up with your vision and mission statements. So we suggest doing a statement of purpose if you're really struggling with this. It's sort of a temporary mission statement. We have a snowman in this picture because it can melt and go away, and then you can create a new one, and that can sometimes be less scary. But we're going to just run through a few examples of mission statements, and what again we want to look for is vision statements and mission statements that communicate the why. We want to see that they're concise, specific, actionable, and memorable. So let's take a look. We have Saskatoon Community Service Village, which exists to enhance the quality of life and services for the community. Through collaboration, cooperation, sharing of resources, social responsibility, and mutual respect, members seek effective and sustainable means to provide quality community services. So I'm just curious, I mean, we're going to throw a few of these out here for you to react to. And we love the folks at Saskatoon, and we don't, this is not an indictment or an endorsement in any way, but just wanted to get some conversation going. So if anybody has some thoughts on what you like about this mission or vision statement, throw it out in the chat room. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about what you like about it or how it could be improved. Nobody has a thought. So I will give you my thought, which is it's a little bit vague. I mean, it covers a lot of bases, but I don't see an emotional connection here, and I don't feel like it's as precise as it could be. Yeah, Michael Marion, too broad. Okay, so let's go on to CultureWorks. Take a minute to review their mission statement, and then let's get some comments going about what you think about CultureWorks Greater Philadelphia. Any reactions to CultureWorks? These folks, I think, are getting more specific by saying that they provide art and heritage organizations and creative professionals affordable access to the support and strategy they need to flourish within a constantly changing environment. Susan Sherman liked that it's geographically defined. I also like their vision around becoming home to the most flourishing cultural and creative community in the United States. So, I mean, there's a lot of things in here that you can measure if you wanted to demonstrate your impact. Jackie says she likes the vision a lot, and then it's ambitious. Yeah, so, okay, let's go to the next one. Serve Denton. Okay, so this is a bit of a mouthful, so take a read through this one and let me know what you like about it or what could be improved upon. So any thoughts on Serve Denton? Any comparison between their vision statement and CultureWorks' vision statement? This one does get very specific, which I think is interesting. And again, we love the folks at Serve Denton. This is in Denton, Texas. I think they were extremely specific here. Michael Marion, too much to read in a vision, but a great idea. Right. So I agree with you, Michael. I think, you know, the spirit of where they were going, I mean, this is very measurable, and they actually focus a lot on evaluation. So I think that they set this up on purpose so that they could be able to measure it. But I also feel like it doesn't necessarily have an emotional connection. And Irene added, the vision statement doesn't sound like a vision statement, more of a strategic plan. I agree. So, I mean, lots of what and how and not much why. Agreed. Exactly, Douglas. He got it. We offer these to you not to be critical, but to provide you with some background, because I think you will find if you're in that stage where you're developing vision and mission statements, that a lot of these are the places that folks naturally will go. And just to be really thoughtful about that and really think about it, really identifying the goals around your mission and vision statement really set the tone for the rest of your project, so we really encourage you to be as specific as possible. The next slide, this is a great piece that we have from the Center for Social Innovation, and it's very hard if you're starting a project, and Michael, even in yours, you could probably, you know, we really encourage folks to try to do this as a network, and the network is really your shared space. We believe that by doing blank and blank, our work will lead to some kind of goal which will benefit some kind of stakeholders. And it can be very, very difficult. We've done this in person, and folks struggle with it, but really encourage you to try this if you're starting a new project. Even if you have a project, see if you can answer this for the center that you already have, because if you can do that, you will be well on your way. So you have that in your workbook. We were going to have some time. They should do the stuff in the worksheets.
So you have a copy of CSI's Mad Lib in your worksheet, and there are a few guiding questions there for you. We're a little bit behind on time-wise, so what we'll do is I really encourage you to answer those questions and take a stab at that Mad Lib. It seems surprising, it seems easy, but once you start working through it yourself or with your partners, it can be a bit more challenging than you expect, as Laura mentioned. So are there any questions on the mission and vision section that we have presented so far? I'll pause for another minute or so in case there are any last mission and vision questions. Pipe them in through the chat.